It always comes to this. More nice shit. Hello there guys, here to do another tattoo progress update today. Where I last left off, I showed off the addition to my arm. We did some more color in here and some more black shading. I talked about the problems in my ditch, how it flared up as soon as we touched it. It all healed up great. This is all pretty much peeled now. There's maybe a few spots that hasn't peeled yet. It's been 2 days since I made this video, since I made the last video. The color in these places here did really well. There's one that hasn't fully peeled yet, but the blue-green was great, and the yellow spots that we did turned out really good too. They turned out better than they did on the outer or the outer bicep the first time we did them. So I don't know if it's just a thing of luck or if it was just easier tissue to get the color in or what the case was, but whatever the case was, it came out really nice. They are a bit smaller, so it's harder to show them off, but I'll get it real close there. You can see the spot I was referencing is the darker spot right here. That will slough off and it'll be lighter. Hopefully it'll be more like that, but it could be a bit darker. So obviously I had another session with Terry, as you can already tell. My head is very shiny. Heads get really shiny when you tattoo them, and they stay shiny all while you're putting aftercare on them. I'll be having a shiny head a lot lately because, as I mentioned, last time I probably got another 5 or 6 tattoo sessions on my head this year, maybe more. We did most of what I wanted to do. Terry felt it would be wise to stop at a point and come back later, which I'm more than fine with, of course. I'm a Rome wasn't built in a day guy, so we did not do the back of the neck here, but we did the top of the head and around it. So we're going to do a session where we do the red along the side here above my ear on each side. I hope that's showing it off. If not, there'll be a picture here explaining exactly where I mean, as well as the back underneath the rose. We're going to do a session on the back of my neck, the tattoo I got done by Alex. I would be doing that with him if he was here, but he was a traveling artist, so you know, obviously he can't do that for me. He'll have no problem with Terry touching that up. We used a red that we don't use here at the shop. When we did that, Alex was borrowing one of Kevin's reds, world famous red, and I don't really like the way that it worked, so we're going to just go in with probably Nebula Red in there and bring up the red and hit the white highlight in the back and bring it up more to snuff with the rest of the neck. So that's coming up in the next few weeks. This piece will get a second pass. Again, it hasn't really changed at all since we did it. It just, it was only done once, and it was the artist's first time ever even doing anything like that. So he did a great job. It's just almost all of my white is done twice or 3 times in places. So the black doesn't need to be done again, just the white. Again, the black stays better than the white, and the initial session of black holds up better than the initial session of white does. So even in these thorns, as I mentioned last time, the only part of them that will need to be done twice is the white, probably not even the opaque. The opaque holds up pretty good too, but the black lines were in there, and they won't need any repair most likely. Although there is a chance that I might do as I did with the roses and the thorns on this sleeve. We're at the end of it when we've done however many passes of red we need and however many passes of white we need, which may only be 1. More I'm looking at this now that we have the red in there, it looks a lot closer to the value that we have on the thorns on my neck and my arm. It's just when I thought we might need to do another pass of white on those, it was because they were meshing into the background, and now we don't have that problem. We have separation. But I'll get back into that. Yeah, I don't know. When Alex did the one on the back of my neck, we had a bit of scabbing in the red, only the red. The white didn't scab, and the black didn't scab, but the red scabbed. So this isn't necessarily a knock on world famous ink. We don't really use it much here, but that red didn't heal very well. And normally we use Fusion. We've been using Fusion Red Velvet for all this red, and again the red on my underarm and chest here is Nebula Red, and those are both Fusion, for those curious. I don't really have a brand preference necessarily. It's just like Rick has about 400 bottles of ink over there, and he has the ones that he likes for different things. For example, we've tried very similar shades of yellow on black and green and blue on black, and some of them, though they're almost the same color, go in easier than others. And it's just a process of experimenting. It might be that the different ingredients interact different with the black. I'm not exactly sure what the case is, but some of them do work better, and I don't know if it's the brand or the ingredients in them, but we've ruled out certain ones over the years. Yeah, so I've just started putting this sleeve up on my Instagram finally. I haven't posted anything about it because I don't like the attitude on Instagram, and the accusations of filters and fucking editing and shit like that drive me nuts. So I've been keeping it pretty close to the belt line. I think I posted session 4 of it. I skipped the first sessions because I didn't really want to deal with that nonsense. But again, it was your usual thing, like, will the black fade into the black? It's like, I don't know. You tell me. I've only been posting this stuff for years already. It's not like there's no healed work from me. I show it off. I am living healed work. I stand here every week and I speak and unedited, and I don't know what else I can do for you. I don't know how much more I can do to show off how this stuff heals other than live it and be here every fucking week and be posting tattoo pictures every week. I don't know when enough is enough with that, but I'm not going anywhere, so of course I'll be here next week when this is healed to show it off. Now, I'm sure, and because I do these about a month ahead, I'm sure that there were some folks out there that when I was talking about the thorns, people were probably like, I can't see them, Remy, you're losing your mind, like this isn't going to work. They were there. It's just, this is why we use contrast. You know, when my red on black sleeve is going viral on Instagram, for example, I have a lot of people who are like, it would have been better black. It's like, you wouldn't have been seeing it if I left it black. To begin with, it wouldn't have trended the way it did, so it wouldn't have been in front of your eyes, to begin with. And secondly, it wouldn't show up because it wouldn't contrast with the background and foreground as much. So, like, the reason why we do these things isn't just because we like the color red. I could have used blue, or I could have used green too. I could have used yellow. But you do need to use something. You need to pop the background off the foreground, or else everything is tonal. And it's the same thing I say on Remy Reacts about black and gray Japanese suits and things like that. If you don't break elements apart, you can't decipher which is which. Here now we can see these thorns, and it's not because we added anything to them. It's because we added something behind them. You know, now they're torn off the background. You could not see them as clearly when it was black up there. That is not an argument, and even if you made those brighter, and even if you made that black darker, these would still not stand out as much because they'd be too similar in tone. So it's just about creating more tones. I say this all the time, and I still get the same fucking question, and it couldn't be more irritating. What white did you use? We're thinking on the most basest of levels. We've used all kinds of whites. I can give you a simple answer, and then you can go and use that white, and you won't get the same results, because it's not just the white. Again, I got to go over this again. This white is only standing out because it's contrasting with the red and the black on black. You take that out of the equation, and all of a sudden it's not standing out the same way. Same as in here. That's contrasted with the black on black. That's giving the white weight. We have a girl that just got a tattoo here at the shop. She wanted a little white moon on her arm. but she's upset because it's not standing out much. And we told her, like, it's not going to stand out a lot without black. It's very subtle. We told her it would be subtle. It's healed great. It's actually whiter than it should be, but she wants another touch up on it. And I told her the last time she came in, it's never going to be super bright because white doesn't do that at the best of times. So the best of times for white would be in the middle of black. But if you're just going to do it on skin, yeah, you can see it, but it looks a little bit like scar tissue. Now in blackout, it might be a little more apparent than that, but that's not because it's actually brighter. It's because there's native contrast in that it's in black. I don't know why it wouldn't stand to reason then that if you put darker or fresh black around it, that it wouldn't be brighter. But it feels like I've been giving this same answer over and over again now for about 3 years, and people aren't taking it in. And I don't know how many times I can say it before, like, I just get tired of it and just start going, yeah, we used Fusion White. Just use Fusion White. It's going to be the brightest white you'll ever use, and you'll never need to do anything else. And you can do it in one pass. Like, it gets to that place where that's all I've got left in the tank. Like, I'm honestly exhausted with it. So, I don't know. Just a rant there. I will say this session felt a lot easier than the last session, but I always do feel really tired over, or not last session, last head tattoo session. I always do feel really tired after head tattoos. You lose a lot of blood. You get a little bit disoriented. I'd recommend a sugary treat after. There's a lot of blood flow in your head, and it makes it hard to saturate too. But overall, this session was a lot easier because Terry did this primarily with the 15 mag, whereas the last time we were working on my head, we were using, we lined everything and then filled in with 7 mag. And I've mentioned this before, but my least favorite tattoo is one done by a 7 mag. People often ask me where hurts the most, and for me it's less about where and more about what was used, how the tattoo was done kind of thing. I feel it more, for example, Rick does most of his work with small mags because you can get a lot of detail with smaller mags, whereas Terry does his work with thicker, like bigger mags, typically because this stuff is bolder, less complicated, less detailed. I find the tattoo sessions with Terry are typically less painful for that reason. Even though Rick is a little more efficient at getting ink and skin than Terry is, I feel like the pointier 7 mags hurt quite a bit more. And my last session on my head, they're both about 3.5 hours, this one and last week's session. This one was a lot less painful. So, and I'm sure there's some mindset that goes into that too, but it is counter to what people would think, in that blackout is associated with pain quite often to most people. I don't think blackout is the most painful tattoo. I do think that it's a lot of trauma on the body, but as far as it feels, it doesn't feel that bad. Similar to this red out, it doesn't feel that bad to have it done, but it is a lot for your body to heal. So there's a little bit of difference between something that's going to hurt and something that your body's going to need longer to heal, or it's going to take more to heal, or it'll be more sore when it's healing. But yeah, overall, nice sit. This did a lot to frame everything and build everything out, and I knew it would. So no real surprise there. Not encountering too many surprises with this. I was wondering if we jumped the gun, but I can't see this red all fading back to black, and so as long as it stays a little bit red, the thorns will stay there, and mission accomplished. Because the second passes of all things are easier. When we do the second pass on the red, it will be really, really fast in comparison. I expect the second pass will take, 2 hours instead of 3.5. You do effectively move about half as, it takes about half as long when you're doing the second pass as it did the first pass, because you're not turning black red, you're turning dark red a little less dark red. So it's less saturation, and it's less pain, less swelling, less bleeding, all kinds of things. So I'm sure we'll do that in about a month, and I think it'll be about as solid as my arm, maybe as solid as my neck if we're lucky. The neck is, again, more solid than the arm is, but I do plan on doing a third pass on the arm and soliding it up a little bit more later on in the year when my arm is nice and fully rested, because I think once you get it there, if you can give it 6 months and you come back to it, I think all the color will be more reactive than it was if you jump it and you keep going. Like, say, an example would be if I did 4 passes every week. Every 3 weeks I did a pass on the red for a couple months straight. I don't think it would be as reactive as if I did 2 passes, then left it for 6 months and hit it again in 6 for the third time, because I think that the whole arm will heal, and this will be more like its default state instead of being more default to black. It will be, this arm is red now. It's complicated, but it's what I've observed over the last couple of years. The work does seem to be easier to put in when it's settled, and the color seems to be more reactive when it's settled. So anyway, I'll cut this one off. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.